But it this will be one of the first few. Oh, what, my fifth thing that I'm worked on. I just have an image in my head, so I wanna work on that. Okay, so theoretically, this setup should be usable. Or like it should be seen on shorts, right? I don't know if it does. Just giving it a try. Nothing too special. So how I'm going to start is I'm going to start by defining some of the layout, right? So I want the main character, being the slug cat, being fairly large. We'll have him about this big. So we're just planning things out. We're probably only going to see the top half of him, so that's okay. But right now we're just planning. We'll name this planning just so that it's easier to work with in the future. And what we're going to do, we're going to be fairly aggressive here with this. And, perspective is kind of just a trick of the wind. It's nothing super duper special. And the depth of the character will probably come all the way down to here. So, once again, not the best artist out there, but it's a good way to make sure that everything is consistent. So this is what we'll call a horizon line all the way back here. Not going to be massively important. No, it's supposed to be lower. Good, like that. Yeah, so this is just about where it intersects. I'll explain my process. It's not going to be amazing. All this stuff is going to be essentially white space. I think I could be a bit more aggressive with these lines over here, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do something like drag it down all the way there, and then have the horizon line all the way down here. Yeah. That sounds good. Move shape. We'll move this down here. That's roughly where the horizon line meets. Yeah, we're just gonna hang out. Once again, probably not gonna see the feet of this character too much. I'm gonna focus on the head. So let's see. If I were to extend this out, so for me, right? I'm a very technical individual, right? So I want to be able to plan my piece a little bit. I'm not very good at just drawing from the heart. So I'm just gonna chill out, figure out what I want. So this box is where my character is gonna be, right? Maybe this is how wide he's gonna be. It's mostly gonna be just the top, right? So what I'm gonna do is, so there is going to be a, oopsie, we want a red line. I'm using different colors just to make it easier to organize. So we're going to do this over here just to kind of find the shape that I'm looking for. It's okay, people can scroll through. It's not a big deal. It's probably much better for exposure though. Hello. I don't know. I don't know if I'm winning or not, but I'm just experimenting. Okay, I see. So right now I don't have, I didn't pull out a reference, right? So the main focus will be up here uh, with the green box. I probably want to make it wider. Let's be fair. It's probably about this wide. Yeah, so I'm just planning things. Not too much of a worry. This is how I want to do things. I think that should be fine. So what I'm going to do, right? So you see these lines, right? These long green lines that are horizontally across. I'm using them for my horizon lines and things like that. And that's going to be a tunnel, right? And that's okay. Not going to be super duper important, I don't think. Now that I think about it, if I were more aggressive with the angle, this is the problem that I have, is that I'm always horribly aggressive with my angles. So, here I'll sketch it out a little bit so that you kind of have a good idea of what I want to do. So I'm gonna pick, a purple, and I'm gonna just sketch out what I want to do really quick. Oh, not even sketch out, just make a blob. We'll use multiply just so that we have something else. We'll change the density a little bit. Here we go. So the idea is the character is going to be here. This is his, no, this is too big. So head's going to be here, right? Body's going to be here. It's going to be leaning in with one arm, so I'm just going to make this extra dark, right? And then the other arm is like this. So the bottom half won't be shown, right? So the reason why he's doing that is I'm going to change the color to something else. Let's not make it red. Let's make it blue. So, it's because they're using a drill and they're leaning into it, pressing it against the surface. Oh, I see what I could do. I see what I can do. So, this you kind of get the general shape, right? I'm not the biggest fan. I think the drill should be the focal point, right? So it should be way more aggressive, way wider. So let me get a thinner brush really quick. So I start a new layer. That's okay. We'll hide this for now, right? So if we do this, and then we make it way wider, right? So that it's a lot more exaggerated. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. So we'll make it nice and big, and then we'll exaggerate it quite a bit. Let's see, like this. So this will be the drill. Yeah, that's a good look. And then back here, let's erase everything back here because I don't need it anymore. I'm just doing a sketch real quick. We'll have my character, which will be delineated in or marked out in purple. So it's gonna have a little bar over here. So that means the arm is going to be pressed in here. So something like that. And then the other arm is going to help support and push in like that. The body is going to be like this. And then the rest of it should be, then the head would be up here, right? And then up here, we'll add another layer. These are junk layers, so I'm not super worried about it. Brown. And then we'll have a dark surface for it to dig into. That will kind of just continue on into eternity. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. And then we'll have a super hyper aggressive angle. So you can see like how this is going. We're gonna go like this, I think. So maybe the character needs to be bigger. We'll do that. We'll be way more aggressive with the angle. Because I kind of want this to be like a... imagine if you had a Minecraft world and you bisect the world and you can see like all the caves and things like that. That's what I want to do with this. So I'm gonna have a little thing back here that leads up. We're gonna have some dark stuff, and then at the very end, tippy top, we'll see the dome. Maybe the character should be bigger. And this block should be smaller. So I should move the block a little bit, like here. And then we will move these like here. And then we'll make them massive. I need to be careful because I have very limited memory. Yeah, there we go. That's much bigger. Maybe make the angle a bit more aggressive. We'll see. We'll see. Cause yeah. We'll see. Anyways. Yeah, so this is going to be the basic layout. That means I should redo my lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my planning layer. I'm going to bring this back up. So the character I will mark in purple. It's okay if it's a little lighter than usual. This is literally just for planning. So let's see. The character is going to be about this big on screen. And that's fine. Right? They're gonna probably have a depth of about this much. And that's okay. I could draw more. It's not super necessary. So we'll get the teal out for the drill. The reason why I picked teal is because it's not a suggestive color in the slightest unless you're very strange. And I'm gonna make it nice and big. So we'll do it like this. We'll follow the trend line here. Now the drill won't be okay. I think it should be bigger. So let's have it pop out a little bit. That's okay. And then we'll rend it out here. And then I'm just trying to follow these lines that I've made before to do the planning, you know? Just so that I can figure out the layout and things like that. So that's a side profile. Start with cubes. Oh, wait, cubes are just really, really easy to work with. So that's why I'm just starting with the cube. We can refine it later. Okay. And then okay, so if I make the character bigger, right, and condense it down, I could probably pull the angle up a bit better. So let's redo the planning stage. Let's redo the planning stage. I know. I should be drawing right about now. So if I change the angle a little bit, I think that would save me. So if I go down to this layer and I transform it and I rotate it, so let's rotate. No, that's not a rotation in the slightest. So if I rotate it like this, make the angle more aggressive, this is a little bit more fun. Yeah, there we go. And then you kind of already see where I'm going, right? With how the characters are marked out. So I'm going to probably rotate these characters a little bit more so that like this, so that it's easier to see, like that. Okay, yeah. This will be fun. Let's see. Okay, so if this is the characters box, it's okay, that's a little wonky, right? Actually, I should move that a little bit forward, right? And then this is how wide they are. So we have a way more aggressive bottom angle here. Right, so I'll mark this in red so that those following along at home, just watching me suffer, can understand. I'm going to draw the how far these lines go out. There we go. So this is my vanishing point. And then that's where that's where everything disappears essentially, right? So that means I can have a much more aggressive covering here. So it's a bit smaller than that, but it'll cover up most of the body. And then you can see here how it works. So this is still below this point. It'll be something like this. Oh yeah. Thank you. Hey Xing. Long time no see. Anyways. So yeah, so this is the planning for all of that. Then we'll get the brown again. And this will be the wall that it's being dug into. Okay. And then everything else will follow suit, I think. So the rest of this will be stone. This will follow that trajectory a little bit. And then now we have kind of a we kind of figured out how we want to work with things, right? So this is just the general setting of perspective. We'll start making more shapes now. So we're gonna make this. We're gonna hide the rough sketches. Well, we're not gonna hide. We're gonna hide the rough sketches of the environment, right? Because the environment is less important. Because I want to focus on the main thing being the character and the drill, which is going to be a slug cat, because they're very fun to draw. I like drawing them in a very cartoony way. So Next up, I'm going to make another layer. We're going to call this body box. You can call it whatever you want. This is just to help me keep track of everything so I don't get mixed up later. So what I'm going to do here is now I'm going to start planning the character, the objects, and all of that stuff, right? So the main two things I want to take a look at would be the character and the drill. I think I should move them back a little bit now that I think about it. No, I should move the brown square forward. It's fine. We'll figure it out as we go. So let's start with the drill, because the drill is going to be the focal point, or one of the focal points. So I put it too deep, so I'm going to bring it out like that. That's the line, and then we're going to draw a circle. Okay, how big is it? It's 20 units, so we'll go 20 units. So we're going to do this. We're just going to draw a big old circle about here. Just planning it out, like everything's just going by feel, right? At this point, not really too stressed about how things actually are. And we all have a perception of reality, right? And yeah, I think I'm gonna have to pull back that block at some point. It's okay. We'll work on that later. So this is the general shape of the drill. Because Dome Keeper's all about that drill. It's going to be front and center. And then we're going to... let's make another layer just for the body. We'll do different colors for different parts of the body. So first and foremost, let's do the torso, right? So the torso is going to be facing back here, right? Because they're going to be operating at an angle, so it's going to get a little wider. The shoulder should be a little bit up. Something like that. Something like that. Right? Maybe not super aggressive. That's why I use vector tools, so that, you know, I can move points around to the point in which I like. For me, planning is pretty important when it comes to, you know, defining my creations and things like that. So this is where the shoulder would be. This is the side of their ribs. And then this will be their shoulder and there. That's what it looks like. It's fine that it's kind of weird looking. That's fine. It's not a big bother. They're going to be a little bit over exaggerated with how they're doing things. So let's see. Their hips would probably be... Hang on, let's look up a reference for... Or I'm going to look up a reference for pushing an object. Pushing heavy object. You probably can't see it because I'm typing it on a screen that's not being recorded. And so this is the proper posture for it, but I want someone who is aggressively pushing. So let's see. Let's type in leaning in. Let's see. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm generally looking for. It's not the angle that I'm looking for, but it gives me the proportions and whatnot. So I'm going to drag that onto another screen so that I can see the chat and all of that. So, okay. So the pelvis, which is the important bit, here would also be like this. So we're just gonna make sure that it's like that, and then we'll make it a little, we'll taper it a little bit, it's fine. So they're not going to be exact, that's okay, because I'm just trying to do a 3D transform in my head for this image. And generally, I'm trying to get a good shape, right? A good shape. Let's do yellow for the extremities. So we'll do a head. So I want the character to be facing the camera, right? I want them to have a little bit of a, you know, when you're sticking your tongue out and you're concentrating, you're squinting, that's the kind of face I want them to have, right? So we'll do that as their face. We can move this later, it's fine. So the perspective is important here. So let's finish here. Because this is one of the defining qualities of it. So we're going to do it like that. And then I can still... so you'd be showing off a lot of forehead. So that's what I want. I'll do that. It's going to be quite a bit more parallel. That's okay. Like that. I think this is gonna work. It's okay if it doesn't, because that means I just have to start again, right? Okay, so probably should draw some circles for where the arms would be, or like limbs segments would be, like shoulders over here. So in the reference, the elbow will be much deeper in because they're leaning in, and the hand would be at the back here, and I have to make sure that these proportions match that of a cat later, which will be a different struggle altogether. So the shoulder here wants to come in really deep, and then we'll push it straight into that there. You can kind of see the shape starting to come together. I'll draw these out just so that you have some idea of what is happening. We'll have a rectangle here, and then a rectangle here. So you're not even going to see this hand. It's just important just to know where, like, the body is. So this one is aggressive. It's going to come out in front of the torso. And then we're going to push forward like this. So imagine that there's something to control it, like a bar of some kind, and that's what I'm pushing into. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna disable this. It's a little hard to see, especially with the colors I've chosen. Okay. And then, because I don't think there's, I'm going to look for a reference of a cat pushing heavy object. A cat. No, cats do not do these humanly things. Okay. It's very fine. That's okay. That's not a problem. That's to be expected. Okay, now we'll move on to the legs, which we will do in pink. Sure. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll have this. Okay, the pelvis should be a little bit more back. That's okay. Because what's going to happen is this is where the hips are. They're going to lean forward like this so that they have more leverage. And then their foot would be down here. You can see that now that we're looking down, the perspective is different. Hip here. It's okay if the proportions are a little wonky. I'll look at cat anatomy in a little bit. The knee would be up out here. And the foot would be down here. Probably need to move this object back in a little bit. So it's like here and a little bit more back. That. And this one would be a little bit more like that. So you kind of have like a general idea of what I'm working with now, what I'm aiming for. So now I'm going to get rid of these, and now I'm going to worry just about the shapes. I should have picked a darker color. That's okay. We'll get rid of the drill for now, and we'll get rid of the planning. So now, now we're just, you know, how we're taking step by step, right? I'm not going overboard or anything like that. So next, let's do some of the line work. Everyone has a different way of how they want to handle this part. I kind of just have a general idea of what I want things to look like, and since there's not really a reference for a slug cat or anything like that, I like to use Chillette from Palworld. And let's see if we got some images for it. Yeah, there we go. So that's not a bad angle. That's not a bad angle. It's actually very, very similar to what I'm working with. Let's see. So since we're doing this, so yeah. The reason why I want to cross Rainworld and Domekeeper is mostly because it's for fun, right? I find both games very fun. They're very different and very similar at the same time. Rainworld has a very simple aesthetic, but it has a very, very comprehensive environment. Domekeeper has it's a lot simpler in concept, but the environments look magnificent, right? They're a hair more detailed. Like, I'm talking about the deep backgrounds and things like that are a hair more detailed than Rainworld. Even though you don't ever get to explore them, right? So let's see. Let's just, you know, let's get a general goofy face down, right? So that point is where the nose would be. And then we'll drag that. We'll have a little bit of a squirrely cheek for the time being. And then let's see, pointed nose. Then we'll have it come out here. It's okay if everything doesn't line up right away, because like, you know, art's about expression. Art's about all sorts of things. Art's about here's the thing about trying new things, right? It's okay to make mistakes. You're never going to get it right the first time. And even if you do, that's an exception, not the norm, you know? So let's see. So as per usual, I want a pretty round head. We have this puffy face over here, and then a nose like that, and then do I want to do more of a side profile? We can do more of a side profile. Moving the whole object. Good. Yeah, I'm not traditionally trained in art, so I'm just kind of feeling around. That's okay. There we go. It feels like it's been a hot minute since I've done any art. It's kind of refreshing just to sit back and do this. I've only been at this for a half an hour today, so that's not bad. Uh, so I'm just trying to plan out the face shape a little bit because with a Chillette it kind of go, and with how I normally draw, yeah, it's kind of like that. Okay. I will probably end up redoing the line art a little bit, but it should all line up the way I want it to. So I'm not going to work on any detail work just yet. And you can see I'm not using any like pens or things like that. I'm using the pen tool for line work. I'm using vector tools, right? I'm not actually drawing. Okay. So that's how I want the head to be. I will label that as head. Um and we'll move it around a little bit so that the neck makes sense. So it'll be like that. As a little bit higher. Then we'll make a body. So what we're gonna do now is, since cats tend to have, like, when you see cats, right? They though they do have forearms, they very much are expressed much lower in the body, right? So what I'm going to do is the box person in the background you see is that of a human, right? And so now I'm going to exaggerate things for the sake of, well, it's a slug cat, not a person, right? So this will be its shoulder, and it'll be leaning out like this. And I'm going to make it wider just to emphasize how cartoony it's supposed to be. And then we'll do that. And then it's going to pull in like that. Let's see. Let's look up some... Oopsie. Grab that. And ultimately, the reason why I'm being rough here is I think I'm just going to put a spacesuit on him. If not, then I'm going to put a normal suit on him because I like putting a suit on my cats. Or my slug cats. And that's okay. So it's supposed to get wider because of foreshortening. So if the proportions look a little bit weird right now, it's because I'm trying to adjust for foreshortening. Foreshortening is the effect of when things that are further away are smaller, right? And things that are closer are bigger. And if you have like a tube and you lay it in front of you, the end of the tube is going to be smaller than the front of the tube. That much should be obvious, right? And from what I understand, a lot of people have difficulties with foreshortening, and it's understandable. It's not something that people really think about. It's like finances. A lot of finances are obvious, right? Like when you kind of just talk about them. But for a lot of people, they don't think about them on the regular, right? So of course it's going to be more complicated for them, or at least they're going to have some trouble about it. Not it's more complicated per se. So it's not about teaching them something. It's about making sure that they see the obvious, right? So this angle is pretty extreme, so the foreshortening should be pretty big too. That means this side of the chest should be bigger. So you can see I've made this arm a bit bigger, this arm a bit smaller. Like I'm trying to foreshorten. The guy looks really buff. I know it looks kind of weird. Since this guy over here is they're kind of like in the same plane, right? I want them to be equally sized, right? Or at least the tops should be parallel like this, right? But for this guy, since they're going through multiple planes, right? You can see that the shape is going to be different, right? So that's kind of just the basics of foreshortening. I'm not good at it per se, right? Okay, so I do want to make sure that they still got a slime cat body. So I'm once again I'm using a Chillette as kind of the basis for the face. I'm going to take a look at a slug cat or a normal cat standing on a... Let's use a normal cat standing on his hind leg. So cat standing on hind legs. Yeah, so their arm expression is way, way lower, right? So what I need to do... Yeah. So what I need to do is I need to make these arms smaller. It's kind of... I have very limited space in the vertical format. So what I'm going to do... so I can't show my reference at the same time, or at least I haven't set it up so I can. I wanted to, but it's a little bit rough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. And you don't have to have expert knowledge of your tools. It'd be nice if I knew what I was doing, but I don't. So we'll do this. We'll do this. Tighten this up. Slug cats aren't that buff, right? We'll drop the shoulders way down. Because they're cats. And then... Wait, can I just hold shift and move? Yeah, there we go. And then we'll add a little bit in there. You can see that's starting to come into shape. A little bit here, a little bit there. It's not super duper clear just yet. And that's okay. Let's have them wrap around a little bit of meat. That's okay. And then we're going to drop the shoulder down way more here. And we'll grab this guy and bring him down here. Okay. There we go. Let's do this. Okay. And then we'll pop this. We'll do this. Drag it down. Drag this down. You know, just kind of getting a feel for it. I'm not super duper worried about how things are going to turn out. I'm just focused on making sure that the shapes look correct. So this limb over here is further back than this limb over here, right? It's in a further plane, so it shouldn't be bigger, right? So I need to adjust for that, right? It's fairly simple, right? Not something that people tend to think about. But then again, in hindsight, it's super duper obvious, right? We're gonna bring down a little bit. Down. Okie dokie. Beneath the Mask is such a nice song. The proportions are a little cartoony. That's okay. What do you guys think? Should I put a spacesuit on him, or I'll put a pull up. Yeah, let's do that. Space suit or business? Am I spelling suit right? I think so. Space business. I'm just gonna double check if I'm spelling suit right, because sometimes a word looks spelt incorrectly, even though it's definitely spelled correctly. It also has to do with the font sometimes, or the way you write it. So I'm just gonna let this be like a it's just gonna be a straw poll, and you know, it's not gonna have too much bearing on my existence. We'll probably thin it out a little bit, flatten it out. Yeah. We'll do that. Okay, so you see that I've lost the foreshortening effect a little bit. So I need to pull this down a little bit more. And this up. Remember, it has to be smaller than this arm over here. Even though that arm is going to be covered, it's going to be, especially with how new I am to art, because this is literally like what, my third or fourth, no, my fourth or fifth piece. Yeah. It's important to have like references like for perspective and things like that. So in the piece itself, right? So that I can, you know, be able to tell where things are going. Okay. So generally, they kind of got a slippery body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call these arms. And then I'll move on to the torso. Right? So generally, slug cats kind of have lower expression for all of their limbs, right? So what's going to happen is they're going to have kind of a chonky body, so to speak. So we'll move it like back here. We'll give you like more of this, and then we'll give it more of this. Kind of give it more shape as we go. So even though they are slug cats, they still have a skeletal structure, right? That's how their bones work, how they keep moving. That's how they can stand and all of that, right? So they got to have a rib cage, they got to have a pelvis, they got to have like shoulders and things like that. Okay. So that's kind of where the front of the body is. Do the same here. We'll have it slightly turned in. So let's see. We'll do this. It doesn't matter a lot. So let's do the front first. Because what's going to happen is that these two are going to come together. Because it's going to have to wrap around the bottom, right? It looks a little wonky. That's okay. So let's go back to my reference of a cat. And then, okay. So this cat in particular is particularly rotund, so it's not helpful. So let's change. Okay, oopsie. I found the cat. There's the cat. Okay, so the chest is supposed to come out like that a little bit. No, that's not the chest. That's the plates. Or not the plates. So basically, they're able to rotate their shoulders forward a lot more than we are, right? Mind you, there is still a hind side to this body over here, which I'm going to express thusly. I'm probably going to remove this middle line at some point. So the leg will come out like this. Since this one is going to be pushing forward, it's going to be like this. I'm going to just use some cartoony portions here. I don't really have a style yet, so we'll set that. And then we will push this out. And we'll do this. And then the other one is going to be pushing out like this. Oh, cat proportions are so strange. They're so adorable though. And slug cats even more so. They're way more exaggerated. So I'm gonna do that. Again, probably not super necessary to go into this much detail at all. That's why I'm kind of skimping over it now. Because ultimately this is going to get covered up by a drill. So this should be if I want to. This is probably like a mistake from me being so inexperienced. But I want to add more detail even though it's unnecessary. For instance, cats have really long feet, so to speak. So we can do this. And we'll move this back here. Well, hang on. Let's just cut this. Delete point. So that they're not connected. Oh, I see. Delete path is what I wanted. Okay, never mind. I don't know how my tools work. That's fine. Okay, we'll do that. The cat feet come like all the way back here. And then this comes all the way there. And then we can add the angles and sharp and curves later. Okay. No one's voted on anything yet. That's okay. Right now the head seems kind of small, and this is why I had it separate from everything. Because now I can just transform it, increase the size. That's way too cartoony. There we go. Because the head is where most of everything matters, right? It's kind of hard to just draw and talk about my process like this, but it's okay. Okay. So we have the cat. We'll go to this layer, delete the path over here. We'll deform and move some control points here. So it's like that. Oh, I can't help but feel like these legs are too jank. I'm gonna raise them up a little bit and bring up the knee like that. This thigh should be thinner. I'm gonna bring it up like that. And then ultimately it's not even going to be seen, but I think it's important to make sure you know where your characters are in relation to, or the parts of your characters where they are. You can, anyone who's more experienced can tell me otherwise, but it helps me kind of find my um points, you know? And everyone has their own way of doing things, so I'm not judging. We learn from each other. We make mistakes. We learn from ourselves. So here, I think the arms are a little too wibbly wobbly. So I'm going to give it more shoulder. Give it more thickness. There we go. This one's a little harder because of the foreshortening I talked about previously. And then we will move this command point down and this command point down here. Yeah, we still haven't decided how we're going to handle, like, what kind of outfit this guy's going to wear. So I'm not going to worry about the colors or things like that too much. Let's go back to arms. Let's get this. Let's bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it down. Okay, so I feel like the neck should be a little further in like that. And the shoulder should be like over here. Hang on, we'll use this point over here for the shoulder. At a point. Yeah, just to give it some form of relatability. And all of the lines are uniform at the moment, so it's not going to... I'm not doing a good job of conveying depth at the moment, and that's fine. I don't think that's going to be super duper important. I'm just trying to connect these points over here. I don't think they want to be connected. There we go. I think I just need to get rid of one now. Or just, you know, move them around. Give them... Yeah, knowing a little bit of anatomy before getting into art is very helpful, in fact. I'm not the best study for anatomy, but knowing a little bit helps. There we go. And getting to know your tools probably helps too. Yeah. So I'm still trying to figure out what kind, like what scene is playing out. So I'm just making sure that I have the body proportions here. They might stay, they might go. That's just how art works, right? I don't think it's you should be married to how things look for the sake of you know, for the sake of saying, "Oh, I've done it. I put the work in it." I don't think it's worthwhile to um redo it, right? If something doesn't look right to you, just it doesn't look right to you. That's okay. That's okay. I'm talking about art. I'm not talking about anything else. Just in case some weirdos out there want to twist my language around a little bit. Okay. I think the tail should come in a little bit more like that. Yeah, it doesn't help that I want to always work on these really strange angles too. So, yeah. The angles are always going to be weird. It's going to come up like that, roughly. Yeah, so the tail comes in like that and like that. That means this limb has to come in like that. Okay, so this is just generally what the body's going to look like. So just for like understanding, I'm just going to make this red. I'm going to make a new layer because I don't want to waste it, my effort so far. So this arm over here is going in this direction, right? And I'm trying to make sure that the arrow is non-uniform so you understand how or what differences there are there. So let me just move this second point down a little bit. So it looks like that, and make this wider. There we go. So that's where that arm is going, where this arm is going to be relatively uniform because it's parallel with its plane, right? So there's not going to be very much foreshortening there. I don't know if this properly conveys that or not, though. Because I'm not super duper experienced in explaining this stuff. I'm not an expert in any way, shape, or form. And that's okay. Right? That's okay. I'm just showing my experiences with it. Don't mind the sizes of the arrows. It's exaggerated to kind of show like the kind of foreshortening I'm attempting. I don't know if it's coming out just yet. So ultimately, most of this stuff is not going to matter because of this, right? Because there's just going to be a big drill right in front of everything, right? So let's start with the line work for the drill. It should be fairly straightforward, right? Most of it's done anyways. Drills are sharp. So what's going to happen is we're going to grab this. We're going to do that. And then we hit enter. And we're going to grab this, say hello. And then we do that. We do that. We do that. We're trying to make it as round as possible. It doesn't have to be round, especially since I have a limited number of tools that I know exist. And then some people are going to be like, oh, but everything is so imprecise, right? Aren't you going to see all of the blemishes and whatnot? I'm just like, if you look for them. But most people aren't out there, like, to be horrific individuals, you know? Okay, so there's a hole somewhere, apparently, in my selection. Because if, wait, hang on. Yeah, there's something, there's a hole. Heck? I'm so confused. It's okay. If there's a hole, then I need to just check where there are connections, and since this is literally just 2 lines, I have no idea why. Excuse me? Is there... Oh, all similar color... Okay, enclosed. Transparent areas. So, here we go. We'll do that, this, and then we'll select all of this outside stuff, and then invert my selection. And then we will erode selection by 1 pixel or 2 pixels. That will help with the coverage. We'll turn it to gray. Let's see. I think a drill... Let's give it a little bit of blue. So I haven't taken anything for color theory, so I'm not very good at it, you know. Spacesuit? Oh, it's currently what is being voted for. Okay. Oopsie. Let's get rid of that. Okay, now I'm gonna start the coloring. Yeah, that looks decent. So you can already see, like, 90% of those blemishes that I had are gone. You can't see them. I can't see them. That's okay. That's not a problem. You know? So let's see. The drill is going to probably be very simple, all things considered. So I'm going to make it normal. We're going to give it some highlights. And what we're going to do is start, like, you can barely see the color. That's okay. Right. And that's why I have the selection here, so I can go, I don't have to be careful about coloring inside the lines. So there we go. And then on the underside, let's reduce that. We'll do all of that. We have to make sure it scoops underneath like that. There we go. We'll make it a little darker on this side. It's starting to look like a drill, right? And then we'll make it way brighter here. I'm surprised. I'm honestly pretty surprised how well this turned out. Because mind you, still an amateur. And so you can probably tell that some of the morphology of the drill is kind of weird. I should probably bring the tip back here a little bit, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. So this looks like a drill. It looks like it's spinning. I'm going to give it some motion lines and things like that later. It's not important. What's important is now we have a big drill here that Now, let's see. What happens if I just hide the line art? It's okay. It's not the best drill in the world, but it does look pretty good. Does look pretty good. For literally 5 seconds of effort. I'll be working on making sure it looks even better, right? Maybe we'll see. Because I'm gonna be adding sparks flying and things like that, or that's the want, right? I think I want the face of the Slugcat to be facing forward a lot more. So maybe I want an even more aggressive angle. So I'm gonna go back down to the head, right? And we're gonna start moving things around, right? Undo. Oopsie. Redo that last part, because I don't know why I undid. So this is why I have things labeled. We're gonna move that. So we'll grab this point and move it around. So we want, okay, I'm gonna redo the face because it's too much to the side. The drill clearly wants to be facing in this direction. So this is something to learn from, right? Something to learn from. So I'm gonna create another head. I'm gonna make this one less visible, right? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, okay, I want the nose to be facing this way, and so let's see, it's gonna come out like that, and then go back like that. And then what it's going to do, I think, yeah. So this is what it's going to look like. And then we're just going to do this. Okay, I need to just fix that angle a little bit. So we'll do this. We'll move these control points a little bit. Can I combine these control points? Because it would be nice if I could. So this one's highlighted red, this one's highlighted red. No, I cannot connect the control point of the same thing. That's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying. It's okay. So let's see. Let's just move them along. So we want a little bit of an aggressive angle here. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We want more of an aggressive angle there. They're not a squirrel, so I'm gonna move their face back in a little bit. How to see me, just a cage of bone. I probably want to lift the nose up more. And bring the cheeks in some more. Okay, let's see. What does a Chillet look like when they're facing directly at me? Chillet Palworld. Yeah, so I had the inspiration for this piece simply because I thought it would be cute. And look at me now. I'm trying to figure out arts and dimensions. So I think like the face in the back works perfectly fine, but I think the angle isn't deep enough, you know? That's okay. That's okay. Okay, let's get through here. Yeah, I would imagine that the viewership would be fairly inconsistent with a short stream. like a short as in YouTube Shorts. So let's redo the box really quick. So since the box is literally like this, and it's going back like that. Okay. So let's not start with the with that. So let's do that. We will make this sharp over here. We'll add more points like that. Well, we're not adding points at the moment. Hello, Scruffles. Welcome, welcome. No way to what? What's going on? What are you surprised by? Okay, we probably want to move this down a bit more so it's a bit more aggressive. Well, I felt like doing something a little bit on the chill side today. And also experimenting with how well I can do commentary on the stuff that I'm doing. Because sometimes I just, you know, when you are gaming, sometimes you just go silent, you know? Because it's really hard to make commentary and play the game at the same time. So right now I'm trying to explain my thought process when I do my art stuff. I'm not the best artist out there. Never will claim that. Because I don't got that much experience. Because once again, it's what, my fourth or fifth piece? So we'll do that. He's got a kind of a lumpy head at the moment, that's okay. We'll bring this down, bring this down, bring this down. Yeah, flatten it out a bit. Okay, this is where I'm going to start caring about more detail. So let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Let's scale this up a little bit. Non-operable layer selected. What do you mean, non-operable layer selected? Totally an operable layer. There we go. Non-operable layer. Okay, we'll do this. We'll change the line density later. Yeah, it's really, really hard to kind of express how there were that many votes on the thing. I didn't even see that many people hop in. To have like an 80-20 discrepancy in the votes means that at least 5 people have voted. So that's fascinating. Okay, so yeah. Silent, yeah, but since I'm trying to stream and all of that stuff, right? I'm kind of required to do a lot of talking. If we do this, and we do this, does that, will make these cheeks less stuffy. It doesn't really help emphasize length all that much. Unless I put... Yeah, because here's the thing, right? Shapes are simple until you want to express dimension, right? With simple shapes. So right now, like, I don't know what it looks like to you guys, but I can kind of see where I'm coming from with all of these shapes. Anyways, not super duper important right this second. I think the cheeks should be the highlight. They should be the thickest points. Let's make sure that these are the right thickness. There is this troublesome point here because I can't connect the points together for reasons unbeknownst to me in this piece of software. By the way, the art software that I'm using is Paint Tool SCI. It's I'm sure if you Google it, you'll figure out where to get it. And I was recommended this software because I do like doing a lot of painter stuff. But then recently I've been doing a lot of line work. And, like, yeah, you can do line work with just by learning how to, you know, use a pen, right? You can hear my art pen like in my hand right now, I think, with the clicky clacks. But I don't know. That's one of the fundamentals that I'm skipping at the moment. Like woe is I for cheating and whatnot. So let's see. If we do, let's do a layer for eyes. Let's make a folder. Let's make a folder. So we'll put this here, and then we'll grab this tool over here, and let's make some eyes. Let's see. Let's look up a reference for concentrating. So references are super duper important. So, let's see. Cartoon concentration. Okay. Those are meditation, not concentration. Okay. So the eyes are going to be fairly simple. So we're going to start with nice big eyes. We'll have them help define the definition of everything. Looks like a squirrel from one of those animated shorts on YouTube at the moment. It's okay. It's gonna be a little non-symmetric. It's okay. It's fine. Okay. Probably want to move this shape. Yeah, so I'm going to be wanting this to be a thumbnail for other things. So the thing about the traditional slug cat is that they have a little bit of a snub nose, right? Like very short face. So what I'm going to do is do that. They're not angry per se. So we'll do this, do that, because they're just concentrating, right? So right now I'm just trying to get the shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this face. Oh, no, I did it in the wrong layer. Whatever. Fine. Nope, nope. Don't want to move the shape. I want to pull the cheek up a little bit. We'll pull this back here, up here. so that here we'll add some pressure here so you can see it. No, okay. What we'll do is we're gonna add this over here as its own thing. We're gonna lower the pressure down, so that it looks like it's a part of the cheek when it's not. Oopsie. When it's not, I'm gonna move it back here. So ultimately, you're trying to play with like what people see, right? So what ends up happening now is I can drag this all the way back here, drag this up. Oh my goodness. Make the eyes start down there. Down there. We'll bring this down here. You can kind of see how it's starting to change shape. No, not professional in the slightest. If you have basically if you've ever seen like a cartoony sort of like Craftsman or something like that. So let me just add like a tongue like that, or a mouth like that. Even though it's not ready for it, and then you make them stick out their tongue like that. Like that's just a sign of them concentrating, right? Like they're trying to work on a piece of some kind. So we'll do that, that. And then we'll lower the pressure here so that it's a little easier. Eyes, the tongue should be really, really small by comparison. So like now my character went from like looking upset to looking more like they are trying to fiddle with something, right? This should come out here like that. Maybe I should have, instead of front facing, maybe I should have it tilted to the side a bit so that the face definition is a little easier to come out. Because like the tongue is helping a lot with figuring things out. So if I pull everything to the side, maybe it'll be better. No, I'm streaming this from my computer. So if we do that, so pull this out. So I'm streaming this to shorts, which is why the format is the way that it is, because it'll be better for like increasing the number of overall views, even though it doesn't necessarily help with, you know, increasing total viewership, you know. Oh, that looks weird. Okay. So if we do that, now we're turning the face slowly because this is not a 3D model, it is a 2D model. So I should probably bring this entire structure over. So we'll move this shape here. So there we go. Because I just felt like trying something a little bit different today. So since it's up at the forefront, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this. So select all of these. I'm going to transform it so that it's, or rotate it. Let's rotate it first. I missed a point. Select. Okay, there we go. Transform, rotate it. There. So now that it looks like more, I'm like kind of just using the one eye to look at what I want to work on. And then I'll make the other eye smaller. So let's get this working first. Let's just delete some points. There we go. And then we'll move that. Move this. Bring this back, make it smaller. Make it more small because it should be facing the other direction. That. Like that. Let's delete some points because I have too many now. Move this over here. The angle's kind of weird. Here, let me show you why. So the face's shape is supposed to be, that is not being conveyed, is like that, right? That's supposed to be how it's going to be conveyed. I can help with like shading and things like that. I don't know. This is a weird angle. So I'm gonna try to reduce that. Let's drag this out a bit more. This is not going to be permanent. So this line in the middle is not going to be permanent. So I want to make this a little less. Yeah, we'll do that. The eye angle is weird, so we'll probably do something like that. And then we'll move the whole shape back like that. It's okay. Not super duper worried. Yeah. So I'm streaming to shorts. I'm streaming to shorts for sure. No mystery about that. You know what would convey? Hang on. Delete path. What I could do is I could, yeah, if I moved this side in closer, that would help convey the shape a lot better. I love the sound of the rain. I love the smell of the rain. Is that weird? I don't think so. So right now it looks more like a squirrel. Is a problem. I think I need to bring the nose down a little bit more. And then we bring the head down a little bit. Make this angle more extreme. So it's conveyed more. And then we will delete this path here. I think it conveys it a bit better. The nose is a little weird. I don't know what to do about the nose just yet. Probably make it a little bit smaller. Probably, like, this eyebrow thing is not going to be permanent. In fact, I think that entire assembly needs to be shrunk, I think. Now that just looks inappropriate. Oh well. Okay, so I've messed up the face. It doesn't work. There, the rain coming, the rain coming. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it needs to be way more exaggerated to the side, like what I had originally. Hang on, like that. It's funny how I'm going like I think um well, I should redo the head, and then I think the old head looks better. Is that just how that is that just funny how that works? Have you ever done that where you spend so much time trying to fix something that see like look at that. That looks so much better. Oh my goodness. Why am I dumb? I don't know. It's okay. Like look at that. That just looks better already, right? Like it already conveys what I wanted to convey. Maybe move the tongue a bit more. Let's get rid of this layer altogether. I don't need it anymore. Because like when you're frowning, but you're sticking your tongue out and your tongue is pointing upward, generally, at least in Western culture, that or I guess you see it in anime too. It's just like that's like them concentrating, them trying to do something, you know. Well, there's more votes for everything. I don't know what the deviation would be. So, or anything like that. So I can probably just steal the eye and that'll work. So let me just grab this. Let's start deleting some paths. Not duplicate, delete, delete, delete. And then we'll move this around. And then interesting. I don't know. I want to continue this just at the moment. Still got a lot of stream left to go though. So my question is since I'm streaming vertically, what happens if I change to a horizontal streaming view? Would YouTube complain? Or like the software? I mean, not the people, because I'm too small for them to even care. I would imagine. Oops. Let's drag all of this stuff down. And then let's make a little bit more interesting. So if we do... we have to make it more intentional. So if we do that... There. And then we... I want to pull in the nose a little bit. That was delete. So I pull in the nose a little bit, right? And then there we go. That looks much better, I think. The eyebrow does not signify confidence. There's a lot of uncertainty with the eyebrows. You should be at least a little bit certain. There you go. Just a little bit more certain. And then I'll add another point here. Drag this up. And then make that pointy. There we go. I I don't know. Sometimes when you work on a project, you're going to convince yourself that it would be better a different way. And then sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. This time I was wrong. It was the original was way better. Uh to like yeah, that could work. That could work. Let's give it a try. There's nothing wrong with trying things. So one easy thing I could do is like that. Yeah, that looks better. That looks better. That definitely looks better. Uh, yeah, so here I'm gonna add some points there, some points there. We're gonna drag this one back like that. I'm gonna drag this point up like that. And then now it looks like it's one uniform thing. We're gonna lower the pressure here so that we can deal with some art things. We will add a point here just to kind of give it neck. A place for the neck to connect. Not super duper necessary. We'll reduce the sizes here. And since these are further back, they're overall going to be thinner. Like that. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. Let's see if I can connect these 2 points just to make my life easier. Future. Yes, I can. And then I'll delete one of these. And then I'll just play with the line weight a little bit. So it's supposed to seem like that this point at the very tip is the most is the darkest, is the most forefront, right? We'll do a little bit less weight here and here. Probably make the head bigger. Probably make the whole assembly bigger. Like that. That. Probably leaning more over here. See, like I did so much planning, and look at how little of that original plan I'm using now. Right? Okay. So we need a spacesuit. People want. Oh, there's more and more people are voting for the suit now. Um, which is interesting. So I'll leave that for now. They're always going to have a space helmet. That's not ever going to change, but what they're wearing underneath, right? Like for their body is always a contentious matter. Well, not contentious matter. They're going to be wearing a suit, and it's depending on whether or not they're just going to have a spacesuit or a suit underneath. You know. I'm just going to check if I accidentally muted. I don't think so. Okay. Okay, this will be sharp corner. That. And then edit, pointed, that, like that. And then make sure that all of these points are connected. Here we go. We'll drag this out like that. Beautiful. And then we'll move the head to be a bit more center on that. Yeah. So I have with unlike unlike Rain World itself, I am totally fine with receiving critique. Well, I'm fine receiving critique regardless, but I'm totally fine receiving a little bit of commentary and backseating here and there, simply because, you know, art is subjective, right? And if but if it looks good to me, it doesn't necessarily mean it looks good to other people, right? Okay. So I'm gonna do this, and then I think this is where I'm gonna make another folder for the drill. And call this drill, and I'm gonna call this head. We can decide what to do with the body later. Let's see. Normally, at this point, I wouldn't be working on a art piece for this long continuously. I would normally just pick at it. So it's kind of interesting seeing how I managed to keep myself not insane. Cause I am also, while I'm doing this stream, I'm also challenging myself to some degree, right? Okay, so we're gonna go back to the highlight colors and just kind of figure out what dimensions is going on here. Because things have changed, right? Things have changed quite a bit. So, this is the footprint I have for my character. This is the horizon line for the character, for the work art piece, right? And let's go red. So if I want everything to end like here, this is what that's gonna look like. So that's a very, very, very aggressive angle, right? I think this also has to go down here too. Right, so now if I were to say, okay, so the depth of the character ends approximately here. Draw a parallel line down there, perpendicular line here. Yeah, so that's the depth of my character, right? From all of this, right? And that's all right. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. So now here's the cool part. So if I was to let's get rid of the green first. Just so that's not in the way. So if I extend this line, right, I can find out what the dimensions for other things will be that's in the same path, right? So if I extend these lines out, there we go. now I should be able to kind of figure out how to deal with other objects. For instance, right? So it's going to be, you can't really see the other points because I'm zoomed out so much, but if I wanted to add, say, a dark object in front, right? I would come up here. So first things first, let's find out where that point would be. Be something like this. So what I would do is draw an X like that to get the halfway point because that's what I want. And then we'll do this, that. And then we can now drag this across here. So this is the middle point. And then we'll drag this there. And drag this down. And now I can delete these paths here. And I can add some more lines here. So just generally, this is what it's a little, yeah, but that's where it would hit though. That's fine. Okay, so that's where the object would be. And this is a little bit of a weird experiment because the thing is I'm always trying to learn a bit more about art whenever I try to do something, do an activity, right? I'm trying to learn more. Right? You can probably tell by how I play Ringworld, how I play all of that stuff, right? Let's see. Viewership is interesting at the moment. Let me just check the view count really quick. It's okay. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We're just chilling though. Chilling. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to start adding some detail around. And what's going to happen? Oh, okay. We want to make sure that back here, if I draw that, oopsie, wrong line type. And then we do this. So you can see that it's very, very ill-defined right now, right? And that's okay. So the reason why I want this is because it's Dome Keeper, right? So they're going to be digging. And you want an exit up somewhere. So I could either put the exit here or I could put it like all the way back here. Which could be kind of funny with how like tiny it's going to be. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it tiny like here. It's going to be taller. So what's going to happen is I'm going to delete this selection first. Delete, 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 delete. Okay. So let's add some squiggles. So the squiggles are going to start really aggressively. And then they're gonna taper down until you can barely see them anymore. Until they get here. Same with down here. We're gonna start with really aggressive squiggling. So like I mentioned, for anyone who wasn't here when I did say this, if you've ever played Minecraft, right, what I'm aiming for is if you've ever seen like a chunk load error, where you could see all of the caves and a build down there, or the mine shafts and things like that, when a chunk fails to load. That's kind of what I want to do. I want to kind of cut the world in half so that like it is reminiscent of Dome Keeper, you know. And then this rock over here is going to be all squiggly. Going to be major squiggles. And that's okay. And then we're going to do big squiggles here. It's okay if they're ununiform or anything like that. And then we're going to put some squiggles here. Let's make them squiggle, 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 squiggle. Like that. And then now when I hide all of this, it's going to be fine. Hello, Ninja. Welcome, welcome. Okay. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to start defining sections. So I want this to be parallel or perpendicular. We'll see. We'll see. Trying things out. We'll just deal with that. I'm doing alright. I'm doing alright. I'm just doing some art stuff, you know. Trying to learn how to art, learn how to be a better artist. And the only way I can really do that, outside of watching some tutorials or things like that, to help me fix some common errors, is by doing, right? I'm not going to become a full-time artist. I just have some ideas in my head that I want to be able to draw, right? And whenever you have an idea like that, it's really frustrating when you can't visualize it, right? Or you can't visualize it for other people to see. So that is the main reason why I am doing this. Oh yeah. Getting really close. I think I'm about 6 subs off. You know what? I should put the sub counter on the top too. So ideally, if I had a more powerful computer, what I would do is I would stream both a normal vantage point or viewpoint, and like, you know, having a normal desktop setup and a short setup, and have them separately. That's largely unnecessary now. Have them separately contribute to the. I'd be streaming both of them at the same time, so that the short would be the one that would be the advertisement, and the main stream would be on the channel itself. We'll do that, and then we'll connect there. And then So I need to connect all of these so that I can use them later. Good. And then we grab this, 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 this. Cool. And then we do this, 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 and this. So, oh, right. And I also have to close this off here. At least temporarily. Oh, I screwed up there. Okay. We'll move this. That was delete. Move it back. Almost at 500. Just 6 more. Yeah, just 6 more. Really, really close. So I will be doing... So I got to start planning that Warframe stream, that speedrun stream. So I'll be trying to, within one stream, get from the very start of the game, you know, where it's noob hell, all the way to the end of, or all the way to the end of New War, and then everything else is bonus, right? Because New War is the linchpin quest now that you need to complete to do any of the new content. And it's suffering. It's suffering. Okay, so that's still what the plan is. Let's see. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to select all of what I don't care about. Right? And then I'm going to dilate the selection by a decent amount. And then I'm going to invert the selection. And then I'm going to erode it by a few pixels. That way, I'm only selecting this section up here and not worrying about everything else. Okay. What color should I make this? So I have teal, right, in the form of that drill. So I want something that contrasts that a lot more. So that would mean... So since I'm using bright teal, I probably want dark orange, which is actually really convenient because that's just the color of dirt. So I probably want a lighter shade of this darker color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then now... No! Why'd I do that? I hit the wrong button. Okay. Do this, 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 and this. We will dilate the solution, increasing it by like 5 pixel sizes. We'll invert it, then we'll reduce it, shrink it back down by 2 pixels. And then we'll go here, then we'll go airbrush, and then there we go. Actually, we'll do a pen tool. We'll do min size max out. We'll do that. That. Let's get it to like 1,000. So we'll start off by doing this. It's okay if I'm missing some spots. It's not a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything in a folder so that I can freely move it around so that it's behind everything. So we have a better visualization of what's going on. Okay. So we're gonna pick. We could make it more orangey, because the colors in whatchamacallit, in in Domekeeper are fairly exaggerated. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start doing this. So the angles are wrong. The angles are wrong. So the funny thing is, I could make this look more like a proper mine shaft, but that's not super duper necessary. You know what? I haven't tried this before. People keep I see shorts every now and again. It's like, oh, you should use different brush materials, right? Let's go bumpy, and let's add some texture. You don't want blob. You don't want canvas. We want dirt. Yeah. Now we are adding some texture here. That's wonderful. You tried Warframe, but it's not really your thing. Never really understood the game. Yeah, that's the problem with Warframe, is that it's really, really, really systems heavy. At its core, the game is very simple, right? Well, it's not super duper simple, but it is simple. You run around, you have 4 abilities, and you shoot things or slice them up, right? That's at its core, right? And then we'll probably want to dress the edges like this, and then edges like that. But then the thing is, they went through a portion of time where they kind of had expandicitis, where they just kept adding more and more and more to the game, without ever going back to address any of the problems with those new mechanics that they added. So I can understand that it's really intimidating, and it's really like it drives a lot of people away. So I'm gonna start dragging this, so we're able to create some depth. And then we're gonna add some squiggles. Oh, should be smaller for those squiggles. Like this. There we go. That's looking more like it. So they're gonna be. Here's where it's kind of weird. You probably want like a lot more detailed, like a lot more small squiggles at the front, because you're going to be able to see more of them, right? In the back, since you can't make out as many details, they're going to kind of come together and become bigger squiggles, right? So that's why, like, instead of like getting smaller as I go down, they're getting thicker, right? Okay. So this is done for now. Let's go back up here. Let's select a different section. So you can probably tell that I've changed from my mouse and keyboard to what was it called? My pen. Okay, so let's invert the selection. Let's dilate it. Or erode it. Erode it by 2. And then we come back down here, and then we will grab the pencil. We'll grab this color, whatever it is, make it darker because it's the wall. Right. And then since it's darker, that's great. Thumbs up. No problems there. And then now we do the same thing, right? Slightly brighter, airbrush. Now we're gonna start dragging this down. And it's going to be different. That's the thing, right? It's going to be different. Okay, I think the brown should be darker as its base. Yeah. Yeah. And then now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make it feel like it's bowing out a little bit now. Because, like, or it should be bowing in, realistically, but it's okay. It's mostly because, like, you're using a circular drill, right? Okay. So I'm gonna like go over this all with a with a smudge tool later, so it's gonna be okay. You can see that there's some uniform pattern forming with the texture. I don't like that, so I'm gonna swap it. Sure, let's do cloud. Okay, well, first and foremost, let's just kind of blend it all in so that it doesn't have that weird uniform texture. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Me, just a cage of bone, nothing inside. And then the corner is going to be darker here. And then once you get used to it, backgrounds are kind of fun. Unless they're like hyper technical, you know? Okay. And then we get this pen tool out. We'll make it, well, let's just make it really tiny here. We'll do the same thing we did previously. Oh. Okay. There we go. That's wonderful. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing as last time. We're going to grab that, get that, and that, and that. And now I want only this section, right? So the reason why I'm not just picking that section is because of the fact that that section alone... Oh, hang on, there's a part that I missed down here. Select. That section alone wouldn't have... Like, it would only select the parts inside of the line, and that doesn't include the line's transparency. So if I pick everything outside of it and then inverting it, it makes sure it includes the area within the line and therefore that transparency. I don't know if there are people that understand that. That's fine. I'm literally just doing this because it's convenient for me, and I'm doing this for me, not for the understanding of others per se in this particular case. So if I do that, I grab this, I darken it even further, right? And then I increase this size here. It's okay if it's not super definite. It's okay if it's a little rough. Okay. So now you can see there's a clear distinction, a clear difference with everything else. I'm going to include some stranger colors. So I'm going to include some blue indigo. That's the color. That's the color. I'm going to include some indigo here. And the reason why is because in Dome Keeper, when you make progress while digging down, um, the lower sections will have different colors, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm adding a little bit of a different color and it's kind of smudging them together just to indicate that I'm in between sections, right? Yeah. But anyways, back to the main Warframe topic and whatnot. It's perfectly understandable if someone uh, like if Warframe isn't for you, you know, because at the end of the day, um, the game is getting better for new players, but the new player experience is still suffering incarnate. Right? That's the whole reason why I made that series of me just playing through the game solo, because that's the worst situation that I could have as a new player. Right? Playing through the game solo from the very beginning. The only thing that's guiding me is my knowledge, right? And that is something that most players don't have, right? Uh, okay. So I want more dark. I want more small. And then we'll do that. Okay. So now if I look at this without any of the selection, now it's very, very clearly I'm in a tunnel, right, at this point. Which looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. And now that I'm getting close, I'm gonna select. Oh, nope, other way around. So I'm gonna select this, and then do the same thing as usual. Dilate, invert, erode twice or 2 pixels. Now I can go down here. We'll use the same color palette as down here, which is this darker, and then we will hit it with a bit of indigo after. So darker, please. Oh, wait a minute. This part has to be above the drill. So this is going to be weird. So I have to add a new layer. I have to bring it above the drill. And now I color it in. Okay. So that's one part of it. Let's make a darker part of it. It's a little too dark. And then let's do this section here. There we go. And then we're going to add some indigo. And we're going to airbrush some stuff on it. It's okay, whatever. We'll add some darker indigo down here. So I'm not done adding detail, by the way, right? Because, okay, so detail work doesn't matter a whole lot at this stage, right? It's just important to, like, kind of take a breather and work on something else from time to time. Because if I'm just stuck working on the same thing, I'm going to go insane, right? Okay. So it's very clearly a cube. or at least a cuboidal structure. I'm gonna add some darkening on the edges so that those are better defined, or at least the front edges, because I'm not going to redo the line art. Especially since I'm going to be adding sparks and stuff coming out later. Okay, so here's the weird stuff, right? Now that everything is filled in, I think this block in front is too big, right? Hello, TYD. So since it's too big, I'm going to make it smaller because I'm not able to see the drill. So now I have this unique issue where you can see that the original line art is not doing what it's supposed to anymore, right? So if I were to remove the line art, you can see that because of what I've done, a lot of it is still filled in, and it's not causing me too many issues. It's still causing me issues, mind you, right? Still causing me a lot of issues, but it's way less than if I were just to ignore that altogether. Let's reduce that. So if I were to add this stuff in, it's okay. I'm not worried too much. Hang on. We still want to keep within these lines here, because they're nice and crisp. Okay. So now I want to darken these. I want to airbrush. I want to make sure that I have some control over the size, and I'll increase the minimum density like that. And like that. That's okay. Let's get a darker tint. Let's add some indigo. Airbrush that. Too dark. Too dark. Brighter indigo. How's your day been, TYD? Just doing a little bit of artsy stuff. Going to now blend. It's not as good as it was before. That's okay. That's just unavoidable, right? And then I'm gonna start blending these edges up here because they're a little too sharp. Especially for a okay, not bad, not bad. Oops. I placed my art pen on the tablet and then it's messed with everything. So now we have this kind of interesting perspective to work on. See, it's been good. You gotta go. Was fun watching an art piece become what it is now. No, I have not studied any color theory. And yeah, thanks for hanging out, Scruffles. It was a lot of fun. Oh, my throat is super dry. I think I've been talking more on this stream than any other stream. Yeah, so just some like exposure stuff. Just trying out the whole vertical streaming tidbit. I'm just gonna quickly check on the live viewer count. Yeah, it's okay. Got one new sub so far. That's all right. I'm not shooting for the moon right now. Just shooting for 500. Baby steps, right? Baby steps. Okay. So let's see. Now this is where it's going to kind of get a little weird. Because now I'm going to change perspectives. I'm going to change quite a lot that this piece is supposed to have, right? because I have a lot of white space here, and I need to figure out what to do with it, right? So, what will happen? So I'm swapping back to my normal setup. Is that I think I had, yeah, this. So from here, I need it to be black. Thank you. From here, it goes all the way up, just straight. Unfortunately, I can't just hold shift. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of have all this stuff back around. So here we go. I could make it squiggly. So let's see. Color theory helps a lot when representing light and shadow. Oh yeah, like I understand that much, but I haven't had a formal education in color theory. Is more so what I mean. I have like some understanding of it because like well it's going to be kind of clear if you like it should already be clear that I don't know what I'm doing, right? So okay, here is where it's gonna get weird. I'm going to then do something like this. Oopsie. Let's just hit undo and just can keep on going. And then this is where I'm going to change the perspective a little bit. So this is fairly experimental. I don't know how well this is going to turn out. And the reason why I'm doing this, hopefully it will become apparent sooner or later. So I want a ridge here. Or a ridge to form here. So I want this entire backdrop area to become the Dome Keeper landscape, right? So I'm just gonna pop this over here. I don't really have a favorite dome yet because I haven't experienced all of the domes. So I'm only gonna I'm gonna stick with the nice original laser. Yeah. I do intend to go through and learn some color theory in the future. It's just right now I'm kind of content with my with learning the basics. And I'll move on to something like color theory more properly later. Because right now I'm experimenting with perspective, as you can probably tell. And mixing media. Which definitely has a place, I think. We all learn at our own pace, after all. Not an expert. One thing to always emphasize is I am not an expert. Never will claim to be one. But what I'm interested to see is how it will look when I juxtapose this colorful scenery with hang on, I'm just gonna pop this up really quick just so I know that it's there. With a lot of darkness, you know. Okay, so since this comes from the vanishing point instead, I'm going to drag this all the way down here. And then I'm going to move this point here all the way down here. So now, since this part doesn't require any detail compared to the rest of the stuff, I'm going to just do a standard like selection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this off here because it doesn't know to stop existing. And let's remove that. We're going to then select here. Excuse me, there's a hole somewhere. Where's there a hole? I thought I closed it. Oh, this is a hole. Understood. Okay. It's alright. It's alright. Select. There we go. And select. So since I don't care as much about these sections, and they're going to be a form of black, right? I'm just gonna grab this bucket, paint. It's too black. It's way too black. I think a gray would be better. No, maybe black could work. Because I can always add something in this bottom right corner. Sorry if you guys can't see it. There we go. I'm gonna drag it back into frame. I'm not used to working on this. So now if I were, okay, I should have just done this on a separate layer. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So yeah, so it's going to be a weird form of perspective. TYD, since you weren't here before, I'm going to just explain it once again. It's the inspiration, not only from like the fact that the Rain World Slugcat that I've always been drawing in my thumbnails, and Dome Keeper, which is the current game that I'm playing a bit of. But also if you've ever seen or played Minecraft and you've seen something called like a chunk load error, right, where you just see the sheer mountainside, or like you just an entire section of the world hasn't loaded, you can see the wall, like the caves and whatnot, and all of that. That's how this perspective I want it to work, you know. So I'm probably gonna add some rocky stuff up there. So that's why it looks the way that it does, you know. I'm gonna grab this area here. That's okay. I don't really care too much about everything going on here because it's going to let's dilate it, and then let's go into paint. So we want this indigo stuff, and then we can always delete some. Like, the nice thing about digital media is I can always delete it later, right? So we'll do that, because like we got some a deeper purple layer, right? And then it gets wider and wider and wider. Too much back there. It's okay. Then we'll have it go down a little bit over here because it seems to spread like a circle, right? That's from what I understand how the map generation works. Then I'm gonna have some contrasting colors. So we're gonna make it more pink. Just Just bear with me. We'll see how this turns out. And then we'll have a complete 180. It's going to be a little ugly. It's okay. It's supposed to be like a massive contrast though at the very bottom. And then we're going to hit all of this with some airbrush black. Probably don't want a texture to it because the textures in this software are not amazing. Not black enough. And then we want minimum density very low. And then we're gonna grab the watercolor and start smudging it a little bit. And then we'll delete everything up here. Not everything, everything. There we go. We will put some black over here. And then we'll add some airbrush just to get some more, gets a little bit of separation. And then let's see how it turned out. So if I turn this off, that's to be expected. That's fine. That's actually a very interesting effect. I don't know how I feel about that just this second, but it's very interesting. I will smudge these. I actually like that quite a bit. What do you guys think? Let me just bring it back into center. Interesting. Interesting. I think if I'm gonna... Oh, it doesn't actually blur in. Interesting. I do want this stuff to be kind of blurred out, though. I'm gonna just focus on that real quick. Because the squiggles are nice, but they're not integral. At least down here. Because I want there to be some juxtaposition of art styles. That's just the kind of thing that I like to do. Where I draw one thing one way and I draw something in a different way, but both of them are consistent. They're not consistent with each other, but they're consistent within themselves, right? Where's that box? There's that box. Take that away. Okay. Oh, took a while to get here. YouTube preview is super broken. Yeah, I can imagine. I kind of want to really take a break, but this is what the art stream is about. I'm just gonna quickly check what my dislike ratio is, because normally when I do something like this, the dislike ratio is really high. That's okay. Oh, there's nothing there. That's fine. Because I would imagine if you're scrolling on shorts, you're gonna see this anyways, right? That's a idea. That's a plan. So, I think like actually active content, like a video game, would probably do better. It seems like we're gonna go and make a spacesuit for our little slug cat. So the white space in the top right, I think I'm just going to grab the... I'm just going to reference the Dome Keeper stuff directly. Yeah, I need to... Oh. I need to continue the character design. You gotta go? Alright. Thanks for joining, TYD. Interesting, interesting, interesting. It's all good. It's all good. I might end stream early, because this was more of an experiment more than anything. And I kind of am a little burnt out from drawing. I'll go on for another 20 minutes, try to design the spacesuit. But no promises. So we're gonna go to the head. So the neck should come in like, okay. I need to not see everything. The drill can go. So we're gonna do this. So that's the actual neck. I want it to be a little thicker. Like that. Okay, what does this drill look like? Literally too big to work with. So the spacesuit is going to look on the industrial side. So you're going to be able to see way more of the body shape. But it's also going to be very rotund by comparison. Because it's going to be not going to be one of those newfangled spacesuits, right? It's going to be a one of those pressure suits. So they will have shoulders that do that. They might pop out a bit, that's okay. We'll have this down here. And then where's the drill? Oh, that arm is going way too deep. That's not gonna work. What I can do for now is I can drag this above the drill. Yeah, I can drag it above the drill for now. Yeah, well, we'll move these endpoints a little bit. So we're gonna do this because we want them to be, we want it to be working on the everything else. So I want the elbow to be jutting out a little bit so that we have some idea of whatchamacallit, where the force is going. It's not super duper important as long as I capture the face of the character. I probably should do a lower body segment. So we'll do like this. Give him that. And then the suit will continue on like this. It's gonna bulge out a bit because it's got a cat body. and then it's going to go off of screen. I'm just trying to get the proportions right now. Oopsie, that's on delete. We want to move. We'll do that. We'll drag this down. And then drag this down. Combine there. I'm not sure what kind of detail I'm going to give this piece at the moment. We'll see, though. Let's see. But we'll give him a chunky spacesuit for the time being. And... oh, you guys can't even see that. Whatever, it's fine. I could always just move the entire assembly a bit more like that. So this lower section doesn't matter as much to me, but we'll see. We'll see. And then we'll move it back underneath the drill. So we still need the right shoulder. Or the there we go. Things have changed so much already with what I'm working on. That's okay. So we'll do that. It's not super duper important. Oopsie. It's more so like I have to define what is important, less so that what is actually important. And I think that's one of the more critical parts about art is like you're the one that has to define everything. Unless you are doing commissions or anything like that, which I am not doing. If someone contacted me and wanted me to do a commission, I'll take it, but I'm not going to stress about that, you know? So we go back down. We remove the neck stuff because the neck stuff's unnecessary. I just needed it to kind of form an idea of where I wanted to go. And then there we go. Spacesuit. Probably should close everything off. So one last time we bring it up here, we're gonna close everything off so that it's easier to paint. Okay. Do that. Largely, don't care too much about the rest of the body or any of the other shapes, right? So what I'm gonna do is now select. There's a hole somewhere. Where's the hole? It's down there. Okay. Fascinating. I'm just gonna close this up. Where's the last one? There you are. Still not closed. There we go, closed. Wonderful. Grab all of that. Still a hole somewhere. Excuse me. What am I missing? Oh, the neck. Understood. Is the helmet? No. Is the helmet? No. Helmet. Okay. Let's add the helmet to the assembly. Okay. Transfer. Excuse me. That and that. Transfer down. Okay. That doesn't exist anymore. Good. Now we have all of these. There we go. So these are all going to be separate to some degree. That's okay. That's okay. That's how things are going to have to be, you know? We will dilate by about 5 to get rid of any weird things. Then we will invert, and then we will erode by 2. And then, so I want it to contrast a little bit. So we're going to have a fairly white looking suit. We can add detail to it later. So let's see, add, drag, paint. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing for the head itself. Where we go, select, 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 and then we'll invert it, or we'll dilate by 5, invert, and then erode by 2. This is just something I came up with myself. I like making my character, my slug cat, a little bit on the purple pink side because I think it is suitable. Don't want it to be too pastel. And then we'll go back down here. That's a little bit too aggressive. There we go. Probably a little in this direction. There we go. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. And then, last but not least, let's go back up here. Let's select the neck region. Once again. And then selection, dilate by 2. Invert. Erode by that. The reason why I'm eroding after the fact is just because there could be some imperfections left behind and things like that. That's within the selection. It might be completely unnecessary. It might be completely necessary. I don't know. I haven't experimented much. As you can see, there's still some left over, right? In the selection. Like these little weird looking bits. And then I can move the head underneath the drill. I still haven't done the ears for the slug cat. So that's kind of funny. We'll do that. Let's try moving the whole. Let's try moving the whole assembly. Okay, so I have room for an arm if I wanted. I have. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. I can also add like some gleam and whatnot. We'll see. Okay. This piece is far from done, but I think I need a little bit of a break. Normally I'd like to stream for about 4 hours, at least gaming wise. Today, there's not, like, you know, it's an experiment, right? I've been showing my how I plan things and everything. The body looks kind of weird still. It's okay. Um, you know what? For the thumbnails, because I normally use these for thumbnails, they would be lower like that. So what I would add next is the lighting. So I would have sparks coming out of the drill, and it would brighten up the character's face. Overall, since they're in a tunnel, it'll be dark overhead, right, and all around. So I'd be cell shading all of that. I'll add the ears because I forgot to do that. Um, yeah, so the soul, it's not going to be the sole source of lighting. I'm going to add some like mining lights all along. So just to add some other forms of lighting, I'll add some foliage. I'll add some of the materials that you would normally find in game, like water, iron, cobalt. I'll add that all to the sides. That's the intention. Like now at this point, as far this is how far I've gotten. Now it's time for adding the details, right? So um yeah. Anyways, I think the drill should be a little bigger. We'll see. Um, it's not super duper important right now. Anyways, thank you all for joining me. If you enjoyed hanging out, and if you enjoy this style of stream, by all means, let me know. I'm currently experimenting with different streaming stuff. Streaming to shorts is fairly new, so I'm giving it a shot. Um, I'll be doing a proper stream on Friday. Not sure what I'll be streaming then. Maybe some more roguelikes, trying out other games. Maybe streaming. You know, it's been a hot minute, so I might do another run of Metal Gear Rising. I always love playing that game. It's a lot of fun. You are all of you are more than welcome to join up. So, anyways, thank you all for joining me today. I think I'm gonna cut the stream here. It's been a lot of fun. If you enjoyed hanging out, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I'm getting really close to 500. So yeah. I will be I'll be streaming on Friday. I think I'll do Metal Gear Rising unless another idea comes to me. I'll also try to actually put a proper schedule out nowadays, starting next week. We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, um, yeah, I'll just end it off here because I'm not 100% sure if the positioning, if the drill should be bigger or the positioning of the cat slug should be, or slug cat should be a little bit further back. I'm not 100% sure yet. I kind of like the idea of them kind of just peeking over the top. And mind you, right, all of this section of the lower half is going to be cut off for the thumbnails anyways. So anyways, thanks for joining me. I will see you all Friday. Ta-ta for now.